Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs Film, and today I am going to be looking at Nightmare Beach from 88 Films. It came out in 1989, directed by Umberto Lenzi. There seems to be some kind of controversy about this movie. It was one of the later ones in his filmography, and there's a few theories going about on the internet about what actually kind of happened. This is one of the latest releases that, although it has an absolutely fantastic cover, I was a little bit wary of. I checked out the trailer and I thought, I'm not sure if I want to get this one or not, but had a voucher for HMV and decided just to go for it. And so Nightmare Beach is all about spring break. Well, let's dial it back a little bit. There has been a series of murders a little time prior, and it has been pinned on Diablo, the head of a biker gang, and he has been electrocuted at the start of the movie. Although he protests his innocence, he still gets fried. Now somebody steals his body from the grave, or his body has arisen from the grave, and there is this strange biker on the prowl electrocuting everybody else. Should be said that he went to the electric chair, and it seems to be that Diablo is getting his vengeance on anybody. Doesn't really matter, just anybody that's there that can pray victim to his wares. So we are introduced to Skip and his friend, whose name I didn't actually pick up, but he was a bit of a douche anyway, and they are going to spring break to get away from things. Skip has had a bad football game. He dropped the ball, literally, and caused his team to lose, and he's kind of a renowned figure. People know him, they know more about what he did rather than the person he is, and he's not like everybody else. He just doesn't want to get drunk and just have sex. He's kind of want to mope about, be a sad sack, beat down on himself, and he gets drawn into this sort of mystery, this person, this Diablo, because his friend goes missing, and he's looking for his friend and discovers, of course, this biker gang. He meets up with this character of Gale, who kind of likes him because he's not as kind of douchey as the rest of all the guys at spring break, and they kind of form a bond as they go looking for his friend and trying to figure out what the hell's going on and who's killing everybody, and why are the people that's going missing not being looked for by the police. Now, a couple of things caught my attention almost immediately when I put this on. Those two things were John Saxon and Michael Parks, two fantastic actors who I was so glad to see in this movie. Michael Parks plays the doctor and John Saxon plays the head of police, and they are not just bit parts, but they're through the majority of the movie. Now, this is a movie that knows exactly what it is. It's a tongue-in-cheek horror, late 80s. It's overly well lit, everything, even at night time, it's extremely well lit. You can see everything that's going on. There's no play with shadows or anything like that. The killer is dressed in the leathers with the mask that you see in this snazzy cover right here. He's got his helmet on at all times, so there's a mystery as to, is this Diablo? Is this somebody else that's taken up his name to get vengeance for him? You have the biker gang that looks like your typical biker gang, they just look like pretty boys but wrapped up in leather, and carnage begins. And there is so much kind of tongue-in-cheek fun in this movie that I really did kind of enjoy it. I don't think it's a great movie. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun, enjoyable movie, and it's a movie that I would go back to again. Has some good special effects. I like the way a lot of the kills happen in here with the electricity, which for some reason took me a couple of kills to latch on to the fact that it went back to the electric chair, because I don't know why I didn't put two and two together earlier in this movie. I just didn't. I liked all the kind of characters, even the sad sack football player. I kind of liked him. He was interesting enough. I really liked Gail. I thought she was a nice character with a good backstory of her sister and family being, her sister being murdered and her family dying, and just having to get by in this party town where she just hates all the people that come there just for the small period of time to wreck the place primarily. And you get some weird side characters that don't really make sense. You've got to wonder why were certain things put in there. Like you get this one girl that seems to be picking up guys and fleecing them for money, or sleeping with them for money, or whatever, that doesn't really go anywhere, and it seems kind of odd and just added in for a little bit of levity, a little bit of fun and jokes, and then to have a couple of death scenes surrounded around about that. But that's part and parcel with these kind of movies. He used to get characters or situations put into place just that had nothing to do with the grander story, just to pad out the runtime and to give us a couple of extra kills. And that's what this feels like. I honestly thought that character was going to play more into the movie, but they didn't in the end. But yeah, I did like Nightmare Beach. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. Like I said, it was a well shot movie of sorts, or it could be down to the transfer. The transfer, which is from a 2K restoration, is unbelievably fantastic. You know, I put it on and you can tell when something's really had a good bit of work done on it. It just looks pristine on the big screen, and you're just like, wow, that looks pretty amazing. And that's what you get with Nightmare Beach. Like I said, it's not a great movie, but it's definitely a fun and enjoyable slasher movie from the 80s if you haven't seen it. Now, like I said, it's from a 2K transfer. There has the original lossless stereo English and Italian soundtracks and newly translated English subtitles. It has an alternative full screen 1:33:1 presentation. There's Nightmare Rock, which is a brand new interview with composer Claudio Simonetti. That was about 15-20 minutes, I think it was, which is very interesting. He talks not just about Nightmare Beach, but about working with various other Italian directors and how he got his start in music, when he left Goblin and moved into other type of things. And it's, you know, it's one of those easygoing, quite interesting little tidbits that's on the disc. You get the Nightmare Beach trailer. You get a reversible sleeve featuring the alternative Welcome to Spring Break artwork. Now that's the thing, it's got two titles, you know, Welcome to Spring Break, Nightmare Beach. You know, it's easy to see why you would go for Nightmare Beach. It's a fantastic title, way better than Welcome to Spring Break. It's got a limited edition booklet featuring Bloody Spring Break, Lenzi and His Last Horrors, an interview by Eugene Erocolani with Umberto Lenzi, which was fairly interesting. They touch on some points, but it's just a nice little read, a nice little addition to this disc. And I would say, yeah, worth picking up, especially if you're a fan of this movie. I could imagine seeing this in the 80s and just loving the hell out of it. So if that was you, you're probably going to want to pick this up as soon as you can. It's region B locked, unfortunately, so people over the oceans can't really get it unless you've got a multi-region player. But my god, the transfer on this, pretty fantastic. If you've seen it, I'd love to know your thoughts. Put it in the box below, and I'll see you next time. A Man vs. Film.